As a caregiver of someone with dementia, it is important to recognize and understand what to expect from your loved one's behavior and respond appropriately. By the end of this video, you will understand how dementia affects your loved one. You will realize how your actions, behaviors, and communication impact a person with dementia, and learn some methods and techniques that will help minimize the effects of your loved one's dementia. Dementia is a loss of intellectual functions and is severe enough to interfere with a person's day-to-day activities. Dementia causes people to be disoriented and confused. They may wander around aimlessly and get lost frequently. They may not know the day, month, or year, and may forget important events or facts and instead talk repeatedly about stories from the past. They may not know who their loved ones are. They may not recognize common objects or how to use them, and they can have a hard time learning new things. People with dementia can be uncooperative, argumentative, rude, aggressive, or fearful. They may become uncommunicative and unable to clearly express ideas, thoughts, and feelings, or might vary in responses to the same situations from day to day. They may have difficulty understanding what others are saying and be unable to follow simple instructions for simple tasks. They may use poor judgment, behaving in an unsafe manner, having poor nutrition and eating habits, and poor personal hygiene. Dementia is not part of the normal aging process and is not a disease. You may hear of someone with dementia incorrectly described as confused or senile or memory impaired. Many diseases and conditions can cause dementia: Parkinson's disease, depression, brain tumors, infections, poor nutrition, drug reactions, and interactions. You may also hear the catch-all term Alzheimer's. In fact, Alzheimer's is a disease that attacks the brain and causes deterioration. It progresses from mild to severe, and many of the early symptoms are the same as dementia. Alzheimer's cannot be reversed, and it leaves people totally unable to care for themselves. It eventually leads to death, and it can only be diagnosed after death. It's important for you as a caregiver to empathize with what your loved one might be feeling. All of us experience changes in our environment on a daily basis. We're bombarded with colors, noises, temperature changes, sounds, objects, shapes, light, and we experience different emotions, different levels of comfort and activity, and changes in physical health. But while you can cope well with changes in your environment, your loved one isn't capable of doing the same. Think back to a time when you experienced something significant or traumatic or new. Starting a new job, or being lost in a new city, driving a car for the first time, walking into a room full of strangers, or your first day at a new school. Maybe you felt frightened or anxious or frustrated or even angry. That's how a person with dementia feels every day. Each moment can seem like a new experience. All of these new experiences can cause your loved one to become easily angered and frustrated, have mood swings, or even become violent. As a caregiver, you might feel upset and frustrated when your loved one exhibits these behaviors. Remember, it's not the person who's frustrating you, it's the behavior, and they have no control over it. A person with dementia may behave in childlike ways, but he or she is not a child, so never treat him or her like one. It is important to behave and respond appropriately to minimize or avoid problems. Remember to be accepting of his or her behavior, never critical. Courteous and never rude. Empathetic and never angry. Patient and reassuring, never rushed. Supportive, never negative. And aware of your loved one's needs, never neglectful. It's your job to satisfy your loved one's basic needs while making his or her life as enjoyable and as stress-free as possible. This means providing excellent physical care, including personal hygiene, nourishing meals, assistance with toileting and dressing. You'll need to provide a variety of activities that build his or her self-esteem and maximize his or her abilities and level of independence. Your loved one's level of functioning and mental alertness may vary from day to day. This is referred to as the window of clarity. A person with dementia may become more confused, restless, or agitated in the late afternoon or evening when he or she is more fatigued, which is frequently referred to as sundowning. Learn to work with these fluctuations and try to accomplish more challenging tasks when you know your loved one is capable, and to back off when he or she might become agitated. Some basic rules of thumb are: simplify, simplify, simplify. Nothing is simple for a person with dementia. Offer a limited amount of choices and use simple-to-wear clothes and serve simple-to-eat foods. Break each activity into individual steps and have everything ready before starting any activity. Involve your loved one in creating a daily schedule and stick to it as much as possible. It provides structure and helps give him or her a feeling of security. Plan a variety of activities that will be enjoyable for both of you, doing nothing that will cause your loved one to become agitated. Allow enough time for each task or activity and allow for some cushion in the schedule in case things take longer than normal. Schedule problem tasks when you know your loved one will be well rested. Focus on his or her abilities and look for opportunities for him or her to be successful. Communicating with a person who has dementia involves many challenges since he or she may not remember or understand words or thoughts, might not think or talk clearly or logically, and may make up stories. He or she might be very sensitive. He or she might even ignore you or refuse to follow simple instructions. Communication with your loved one is a two-way street. You will need to adjust the way in which you usually communicate. He or she will understand what you say if you say it the right way. The following techniques may help when talking to your loved one. Use positive cues. Smile, nod, point to or touch objects. Keep a relaxed demeanor. Look into his or her eyes, avoid sudden movements, and try to demonstrate anything you want him or her to do. When speaking, speak gently and clearly, confidently but patiently. Speak slowly and do not mumble. Avoid interrupting, challenging, or contradicting your loved one, and don't ignore. Don't ever speak as if he or she is not present. Use your loved one's name frequently. Remind him or her who you are and who others are, where he or she is, what day it is, what time it is. Reinforce the information with signs and pictures. Use positive, reassuring words. Keep words and sentences simple, giving only one message or instruction at a time, and always give time to respond. Repeat instructions if you need to. Limit the number of choices to avoid confusion or frustration. Talk about things your loved one enjoys. As you do, you'll start to pick up on clues that will help you make appropriate decisions about what will make the situation more comfortable. It also gives you the ability to help your loved one communicate when he or she is having a hard time with it. Talk about the work they used to do, their hobbies and interests, family and friends, and pets. What makes them happy or sad? What books, games, and movies do they or did they enjoy? Despite your best intentions, difficulties may occur. Always remember to put safety first. Stop when your loved one resists care. Wait a few minutes and try again. Look for reasons for the resistance and try to remove the obstacles. Sometimes a person with dementia will wander aimlessly or try to get outside. This is often a sign of agitation. While it can't be stopped, it can be controlled. Never let your loved one out of your sight when he or she is wandering, and keep coats or other items associated with going outside out of sight. Try walking together and engaging in a conversation, but don't ask questions about the wandering. It will make it worse. Try to divert his or her attention to another enjoyable activity. Don't give choices. Be direct using words like, "We're going to eat lunch," or "It's time to fold laundry." Take your loved one for walks or rides in the car. And if your loved one does wander and you can't find him or her in a few minutes, call the police for help. Overreaction to situations or events is another common difficulty. With time, you'll be able to identify and avoid most of the situations that trigger an overreaction, but sometimes it still happens. Signs that your loved one is about to overreact include a mood change, crying, restlessness, shouting, or combativeness. Try changing the current activity. You can move to a quiet place and talk in a quiet, reassuring way. Never restrain or scold your loved one. Always remember that your loved one simply can't help the behaviors he or she exhibits when suffering from the effects of dementia. So your own behaviors and reactions can help minimize the effects if you deal with his or her behavior with kindness and patience. For additional support when caring for someone with dementia, look for help through both online and in-person support groups for caregivers as well as from counselors or therapists. Professional home care services are also available to help families in the home. LifeStyle Options caregivers are trained and skilled to safely monitor and care for your loved one. For more information, call us at 888-342-4636 or visit our website at www.lifestyleoptions.com.